So I think there are a number of things that obviously got me to this point. We're now in July. I think when the buyer backed out, like that was tough for me and made me realize that like, are these people that I'm fostering on Zillow really worth me staying here for? Because one, I felt close to some of them, and two, I felt like some of them were getting close to making this decision. And that was also making it hard for me to know if I should leave or not. But ultimately, again, a number of things happened. I can't even remember everything that happened, but I did decide to buy my classes for my New York real estate license. Well, there you have it. This doesn't even feel real. I did not think my morning would go this way. Oh my gosh. I have been talking about getting licensed in New York since I was a marketing director, and I didn't even have my Washington license yet. I realized after 6 months into my real estate career here that I loved real estate, but that I didn't love doing it in Seattle. So New York just jumped back on my radar again after 2 years of really not thinking about it. And here we are, July 10, 2022. I had been talking about it the week prior, and my mom was like, don't stress about it. You know, you don't need to buy your classes right now. Just like, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. And literally less than a week later, I really felt it was like the first very strong sign that I was doing the right thing by following this insane dream of mine, right? So once I was in school, I got kind of a head start and wanted to start talking to brokerages out here. And I do remember being very excited about having those calls. I'm really glad I kind of jumped the gun. Even though I was like far from being ready, I think it was definitely worth it. And then I gave my notice. I mean, I probably gave my notice first and then spoke to brokerages, honestly, but all of that happened in July. So I was still with my team in August. I ended up writing another offer, which was very exciting, but we lost by not even $15,000. It was insane and very disappointing. I had been working with them for a while. They were fine, you know, but they definitely paused after that, like for a little bit. They ended up buying after I had left, and they texted me, which was really sweet. And I was happy for them. I was bummed I wasn't able to be a part of that, but I was very happy for them. So shortly after that, I ended up going into burnout. I do talk about this in another video that I put out recently, and I just realized like it wasn't just that was just sort of the tipping point for me. You know, I officially leave my showing partner position in August, and I go to New York City, and I'm in New York working a totally different thing. Like I take up a marketing program that's like short term. I mean, I felt crazy, guys. Like I wasn't really dying to leave real estate, but I was very much given an opportunity to come to New York for an extended period of time and see if this is really what I wanted to do. I mean, to be honest, like I was very sure of it. I didn't expect to come here and like not like it anymore. I think I was just curious. I hadn't been to New York since the pandemic started. And you know, the timing of my burnout was just crazy because I had been obviously making plans at this point to work this marketing program in New York. So then to hit burnout, I think I had a week or two left. I think I had maybe 2 weeks left of work before I left. And I just felt like it was perfect timing. I just really needed to step away. Being a showing partner was a lot, and I'm so happy I did it because I learned very, very quickly. But you know, I was working for 2 separate real estate agents that, yes, they had a team together, but they had their own clients while fostering Zillow leads, which are a lot of work in and of itself, while also taking care of anybody's clients on the team. It didn't happen very often, but if somebody was out of town, like I would go do showings for them. And especially when the market was hot, like there were days where it was easily 12+ hour days of just driving around and not having time to eat and things that I need to be like more mindful of, you know? I don't mind like the long days and the hard work, but I think that it just became too much because I have been such a yes man like my whole life. Just yes, 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 whatever you need, I'll do it because I wanted to learn. So it's like I don't regret it, but I pushed myself too far and got to the point where I was spiraling and it was bad and I was at rock bottom and I wouldn't have been able to get out of it without my friends. So shout out to my friends. So September comes around, I'm still in New York. I'm still in school, by the way. Like August, I was still working on my classes. September, I was still working on my classes. And September for me was really just focusing on getting out of burnout. I was done spiraling at that point. My spiral didn't last that long. It was more so just like that overwhelming anxious feeling. It was kind of constant. And the program that I decided to work on was not helping with that because it was a very stressful program. So I needed extra time to just like decompress and chill out. I got very into working out. My sister was with me, so we were working out like crazy. We were walking everywhere. We just had a great time, you know, like it was what I needed. And my brain started to really attach to these other like creative ideas. So I was still in school for real estate. I was still very much about that path, but I needed to focus on other things that had nothing to do with real estate. I needed to focus on creative ideas. I needed to just let my brain wander outside of what I had been doing so intensely. Even before getting into my showing partner position, like it's just all I ever thought about, and it's all I'm thinking about now, and that's not a bad thing. It's just that the combination of burnout and overwhelm and anxiousness made me realize I just need to pause all this. When I reflect, something that always crossed my mind when I was working in sales finally was like, what is my purpose in real estate? And there's definitely a part of me that was like, maybe I could just work for a principal forever and like make good money and be okay with that. And there was another part of me that was like, no, maybe I want this to be my own thing. And I think that that was like another reason that I was grateful for the pause in September, was to just take time to really figure out like, what was I trying to accomplish by joining the real estate industry? And I think that that's something that like will continue to change, and I'm like, I love that, you know? Yeah, so that was a very interesting September to say the least. But then we go into October, I come back from New York and I just hit the ground running, and it was like the best feeling ever. Again, I have a few vlogs that go over this time in my life. Basically, I hit the ground running for prepping my mom's house to finally list it. She had been working on projects when my sister and I came to New York, and by the time we came back, it was pretty much like, let's just get this done. It's not going to be perfect. So I ended up co-listing with an agent who worked in her county. This was not in Seattle, so I didn't feel like super confident doing it on my own. And this person had sold my mom's friend's house on the same street like years prior. So I co-listed with her, and I remember meeting with her like very shortly after I got back from New York, and it was just exciting, you know, like we were finally doing the stuff that I enjoyed doing. Prepping the house was like not my thing. I was miserable, to be like quite honest, and I was working on my mom's house like every single weekend. So I was like working my showing partner job and then immediately driving back home an hour and a half north of Seattle to work on my mom's house for the weekend, and then come back to Seattle and do it all over again. And I think that was definitely like another reason that I hit burnout the way that I did. Just to like give you guys a little more context. So November was a big month, a very exciting month. I finished my real estate classes. I passed my final in school. Literally fly to New York 6 days later, stayed at a friend's house, took my exam, find out I passed the exam. There's a video on that. We close on my mom's house, which was incredible, and we leave Seattle. There's a video on that one too. I just started like really documenting the journey clearly. So it was crazy. Yeah, all of it was crazy. I really don't even have words. Like, I think I'm just gonna kind of leave it at that. It was a very big month of transition. What I will say is I feel like when we did sell my mom's house, we just got so lucky with the timing. So she ended up selling it for $430, and I think she got $412.5 for it. She wasn't stoked about it at first, but she ended up taking it, and we noticed a significant drop. Like basically all the houses in the neighborhood were dropping their prices after that. So at that point we were the least expensive listing in the neighborhood. And there were houses that were like bigger than ours that were like dropping it below us. My mom like still like has kept tabs a little bit because like Redfin will still email her. And look, we felt like we had already missed the mark, which we did on like the hot steamy real estate market. But this was like, we really got out by the skin of our teeth on getting a decent price for her home. So just wanted to add that. So obviously December, you know, I'm no longer really working in real estate at this point. My license was released from Compass, which that actually may have even happened in November, because once it closed, I got released. Yeah, so it was November. So I didn't even have like, I didn't and still don't have like an active license anymore, which wasn't a great feeling. I didn't have school to work on anymore, so I have spent the last month just over consuming myself with podcasts and YouTube videos and even TikToks and articles and just everything to keep my mind still like in the real estate world. But the exciting news and sort of just like the story behind this transition, or key piece of this transition rather, is that I did find my first apartment in New York City, and I'm currently filming this not from my new apartment. I wish I had a white brick wall. This is too cute. I'm at a hotel because I'm picking up my keys today. So found my first apartment though in New York, which is just wild. Leased it sight unseen, which is so scary. I ended up spending really the last like week working on my business plan for 2023. So that was just like very energizing and exciting. And honestly, I'm so excited to get started out here. So a few logistic things that I figured I would throw in this video is that I have to get a state ID in order to apply for my license. So that is what I'm waiting on, and I have a DMV appointment tomorrow to trade out my driver's license for a new one, and I'm hoping that that goes smoothly, obviously, because the sooner I can get it sorted, the sooner I can apply for my license. I'm probably gonna have to do fingerprints again, so it's just like a few more hoops, but that's okay. You know, I also look forward to taking this time to just like settle in and like find a new routine out here. So I'm in no rush, but I'm kind of in a rush, if that makes sense. So I'm excited to keep you guys updated and share more about the journey just settling into New York and working in real estate. I definitely want to be a resource to anyone out there that is maybe trying to do the same thing, maybe real estate or moving here or both, and also just share the wealth. You know, I'm not a gatekeeper, so please email me if you have questions, if you want to connect. My email is down below. I'm on Instagram. Feel free to DM me. I check my comments on here. I'm also on TikTok now, so I'm kind of everywhere, and happy to, like I said, be that resource for you no matter what you're trying to do out here. If I can help, I'd love to help. So please don't hesitate to reach out, and I will see you in the next one.